Today, gentlemen, I've been honored to coach you. More honored to take you into the field of battle. But there's another honor that's been bestowed upon you. And that is the mantle that comes with that question. Who am I? I am a champion! That's right.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Definitely appreciate the support. I wanted to start diving into how to attack certain coverages. So as noted in the pre-snap read video, this is double high side, this is single high side. Every single defense in the game can be condensed down to one of these 6 different coverages. And the first couple of weeks of Madden, obviously we went through a meta where they were running different blitz packages that seemed untouchable for most people, and a lot of people were struggling with it. Now the good thing about it is, remember, everything can be condensed down on one of these 6 different coverages. If I were to ask you which one does all of these different blitzes people throw at you fall under, I would say about 98% of them fall under here, just cover 0. So that's why it's really good to kind of know these 6, because if you know the fundamental weaknesses of cover 2 zone, when you branch off into other different cover 2 zone types, the strengths and weaknesses are kind of similar, right? Cover 0 probably has the most weaknesses and strengths that are shared across all of the different play types of cover 0, right? So if you go to your play call sheet and you go look at all your cover 0 blitzes, a lot of the strengths and weaknesses are exactly the same. Now, you may have different strengths and weaknesses of different types of cover 2 zone, but 0, it's pretty much the same, okay? So the good news about that is, if you learn all the strengths and weaknesses of cover 0 in general, every time you run across cover 0 in the game, you should be pretty prepared to deal with it, okay? So that's what I really want to go over in this video. There's multiple ways to destroy cover 0, okay? So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I've tried to record this 1,000 times. So as the offense, we're sending 5 out into routes. I just want to get into the point here. And we picked nickel cover 0 from the mug look. And you will see, because we're blocking 5 and the defense is bringing 6, that means someone is going to come scot-free at the quarterback. In this play, it should be this guy right here. And that's like one of the biggest strengths of cover 0. You get a free rusher, right? Now, I want to note that the defense is always awarded the ability to bring someone scot-free at the quarterback. And you'll know more about what that means in a little bit, okay? So what the offense can do is, yeah, the defense can bring more than what we can block on any play, no matter how many we block. But the offense can decide who that free rusher will be. Okay, so we can create, our blocking scheme, push it in a certain way to designate who that free rusher will be. Okay, and that's very important. And here I will showcase that by moving the mic so we can slide a different way. And now these guys will be picked up, and this will be the free rusher. Now you may say, well, why does that matter? If someone's coming free, then they're coming free, so big deal. Well, that's actually a really big deal. Now, you don't have to necessarily know how to ID the mic to be good against cover 0. Okay, as long as you know they're playing cover 0 and you know that someone's going to come scot-free, you can still be deadly against it. But obviously, I'll make more detailed videos on pass protection in regards to Madden and how it works. And I'm telling you, you'll be a lot more efficient at attacking defenses with the mic, because it does come into play when you come across like opponents with complex blitzes, and you need to slide a certain way because you have your hot a certain way, okay? So we'll get into that. So what an offense can do, because they're sick and tired of getting a free rusher, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have done this, is where you block the back, right? So originally we were blocking 5 and you brought 6, so you get a free rusher. So how about we block 6 to pick up the 6, right? So that way now we can usually, they word to the wise, they usually do back on the linebacker in this look, you don't want your back blocking like a defensive end type, right? So I'm not going to go off the rails here. So everyone will get picked up. That's the idea here, as you see. So now the quarterback can sit, obviously not for a long time because it's one-on-one across the board, and you know they're still going to push the pocket pretty hard, but at least someone doesn't come scot-free, right? So right now we be getting hit, okay, from the free rusher, but we're awarded more time. We can hit our back foot, make our read, throw the ball, etc., right? As opposed to someone just coming clean, free, and hitting the quarterback, okay? Now here's the problem with that. You can't live and die by just blocking your back, right? You have to know how to attack it in other ways, okay? And the reason for that is, now this is a nice little nugget because I do this all the time. I've been doing this for years at Madden, okay? What I will do on like 3rd and 8, 4th and 8, that type of deal, if I know that, I will play a look like this, okay? Like there's obviously certain situations where I play cover 0. And I will come out and show, yeah, we're playing cover 0. What are you going to do about it, right? And if I notice that my opponent blocks his back in response to that to get 6-on-6, well, what we can do as a defense is I will take the safety that's in man-to-man coverage with that back and bring him at the line of scrimmage. And I believe it's called a green dog technique, where I'm man-to-man with him. If he leaks out, then I run with him in man-to-man coverage. And again, we get 6-on-5. Someone's going to come scot-free. However, if they block the back to block 6-on-6, when I see him block, then I come. And you see the problem for the offense there. No matter what, now you're blocking 6, but now we are bringing 7, okay? So I should have set the mic in a different way to showcase something here. But as you see, they still get a free rusher, okay? That guy here. So you should try that in game. If you notice you run a cover 0 and you show it, so they know that it's coming, right? I mean, this is the fastest cover 0 blitz in the game, okay? So you show it and, you know, they block the back to pick it up. Well, the next time you run into that same scenario of 3rd and 8, 4th and 8, whatever, and you just bring your safety down or linebacker down, whoever's on this guy. You eye him, and then when he blocks, then you come. So you still get a free rusher. So I do it again here. I wanted to showcase something. Now, this was hard to do with 2 controllers, so in real life, it would be a lot more cleaner. Okay? So now, right here, remember what I said about the offense, though. We can decide who that free rusher will be. Now, that's very important, right? Because theoretically, we can let this guy be the free rusher, right? Or we can let this guy be the free rusher based upon how we block. Now, in the ideal world, which one as the offense would you rather be the free rusher? If there's going to be a free rusher, because the defense can always bring a free rusher, which one would you rather be the free rusher? Well, obviously it would be this guy, for obvious reasons. The distance from this guy to the quarterback is a lot shorter than the distance from this guy to the quarterback, right? So he has to travel more distance, which allows us to have more time. May not be a whole lot of time, right? But it's still more time, and that's what we want when we're playing against cover 0. The more time we can have, the better, okay? So that's important for later. But as I showcase here, it was hard to do. And I ran into the tight end because I couldn't move both controllers. But in real time, it's a lot more cleaner. But again, it would take a little bit longer. But again, you still get a free rusher. Okay? So theoretically, if you think about it, what can the offense do when that happens? It's a never-ending cycle, right? We block him, he trounces up, and then now he comes, right? So what we could do is, bring a tight end in, and now we block him. So now we got 7 blocking 7. Okay, I was just watching the the Bengals, maybe I'll cut away from here and show that, okay? Their offensive line is horrible. It's abysmal. It was disturbing to watch on the All-22, okay? And there was a first down where I assume the offensive coordinator was just so sick of not being able to Burrow's just not able to like get any time at all to read down the field, you know, and it got to a point to where it seemed like he was just checking it down really quickly because the internal clock in his head was just going so fast because he's just getting hit and pressured so quick. He can't even hit his back foot. I'm talking about front four pressure. Like they're not even bringing like pressure, right? So there was a first down where he blocked 7 and just released 3 onto routes, and he still got hit. And the Steelers green dogged it. So maybe I'll cut away and showcase that. Okay, this was week 1, Steelers versus Bengals. And again, I mean, the pass protection of the Bengals is not very good. We're not talking about picking up pressures. I'm talking about just blocking the front four. Okay, so what the Bengals did, I believe this was their second or third drive. They're going to do a full max protect. Okay, so 7 blocking. And we got a deep comeback pattern here. I believe we got the same here. Okay, and I think he's on a seam read, where if the middle of the field is closed, he will run like a dig pattern. And if it were to be open, I think it would be more of a post pattern. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so I believe the Steelers were in some type of cover 1 man type deal. And you will see these two guys, which would be a man, right? Man on that guy, man on the back. And they're in like a pressure here with bringing 5. When they snap the ball, and these two guys notice, hey, this guy's blocking and this guy's blocking, well then they pressure, right? Simple stuff. And as you see right here, right? So max protect, and he still gets rocked out of his world. His left tackle is just getting crushed. I mean, they're trying. I mean, but it was brutal, man. What's worse is it was open too. I mean, he was throwing his deep comeback pattern. He's threatening deep, turns it back, and I mean, he's just getting rocked, right? So that's neither here nor there. I mean, I stepped away from that because I started talking about Green Dog, and I remember watching this, so let me go back. All right, so how do we deal with it? Well, for one, we know someone's coming free, but again, the weakness of cover 0 is that it's man-to-man across the board on the back end. There's no deep middle safety. There's no deep half safety. They really don't have any help when it comes to coverage as these defensive backs, okay? Now, they do have help. Their help is the rush, right? So they know that the ball's got to come out quick, right? But how do we beat that? Well, this is what throwing hot is, okay? So if this guy's going to be the free rusher if he comes, I would label him as the Q, right? And it's the quarterback's responsibility. Offensive line, based upon the language and the pass protection that they have called, they're all in unison in knowing, the quarterback knows and the offensive line knows, hey, we're responsible for these guys right here, okay? But we aren't responsible for this guy if based upon the protection. So if he comes, that is your responsibility. You don't have to block every rusher as an answer. You just have to have an answer for every rusher. Okay, our answer for these guys is the pass protection. Our answer for this guy as a potential rusher is a throw. All you have to do is throw the ball before he gets there. Now that may sound simple, and you may think, well, you know, how is that even possible? Well, we have a curl pattern over here. And I'm telling you, if you throw it in rhythm, okay, this guy will never make it before that ball is gone. So I showcase that here. Oh, I threw this little, let's do that first. So the route combination, he's running up the seam. He's running like a hitch, and he's going to kind of curl over in the curl area. So, I mean, you don't have to switch everything into hot routes. A lot of play art, they have somewhere to go in the play if you have to throw hot, okay? So in this play, if you wanted to, you can throw this. I wouldn't, but I just still wanted to showcase because I don't like how up close this guy is. But still, we can throw it before this guy gets there. So I showcased that here, I believe. No, this is a little bit too far back. And as you see, the ball's out before that free rusher gets there. So here I should throw the curl. Look, ball's gone. We're not getting hit. You can do this 100 times. This guy will never make it. Okay? As you see, we're not waiting until he finishes his curl. We're throwing in rhythm before he even breaks into the curl. Okay? That's because we know it's cover 0. We are prepared for it, and we have a plan of attack if the free rusher comes. That's how you beat cover 0. Obviously, you have to throw it. If you're going to throw on it, which you should, you have to throw it before that free rusher gets there. Okay? So the biggest thing is pre-snap reading. So if you struggle in pre-snap reading, you don't know when it's coming, well, now you may not, it's harder for you to attack it if you're throwing the ball because you snap the ball and then the free rusher comes and you weren't prepared for it and then you just get rocked, right? You get a sack or you throw out of a sack and get an interception, that sort of thing. So I'm telling you, go to the practice field. I mean, this is the quickest cover 0 you can really get in the game. Okay, we're only blocking 5. Okay, he's right on the edge here. We have no tight end to impede his progress. He doesn't have to go around. I mean, this is straight line to the quarterback. The only way you can get a faster blitz is if you were to get A gap pressure or B gap pressure. But offensive line protections are taught to block inside out. You're never supposed to allow anyone to come in the A or B gaps. If someone's going to come free, it's going to come from the C gap beyond, right? So this is the fastest. And if we can get the ball away on a curl pattern before this guy gets here, then you should have no issues getting rid of the ball against any blitz in the game. Because remember, they all share the same weaknesses and the same strengths. So here I showed a slant pattern by this inside receiver, and you see the ball is gone before the free rusher gets there. Now, keep in mind, when you're doing this, you got to keep in mind of matchups, right? So think about it. We know it's man-to-man across the board. Let's say that Jalen Ramsey is over here. Okay, and then you got, your best receiver here. Well, you can still throw this, because he's a stud as well. You can still throw this, but the window will be tighter. It's a better corner. So, in this situations like this, you do want to be aware of your matchups. And I say all that to say, this is one of the better safeties in the game, and you're running your, 4th best receiver in this position. You may not want to attack this player on a hot throw against this guy, right? But I still showcase that it's possible, right? We throw before the defender gets there, but the window is just so much tighter, right? So you just got to be aware of that. Here I showcase how he can get his hands on it, because the difference in talent is it weighs in this guy's favor. Okay, so just be aware of that. But other than that, again, I think I throw that curl pattern again. I don't remember what I did. Okay, I threw a slant. Okay, so now you get in the world of, so this is the design of the play. I just wanted to showcase throwing those routes that you can utilize the actual routes within the play that you picked and have somewhere to go. Now, some plays obviously don't have anywhere to go, so that's where you can get into your hot routes. So I hot route him to a slant, and this video is all about off coverage, cover 0. We'll get into press coverage, how to beat that cover 0, because then your opponent might start doing that, or then they'll start pressing and then bailing. Okay, but this is just off coverage. We can do the slant, ball's out before he gets there, right? We're not beating him with protection, we're beating them with the throw. A lot of times you don't want to keep your back in the block because, obviously they can green dog. Now, you won't get a lot of that in Madden. I rarely ever see anyone green dog. So you can get away with just blocking the back and having more time to make your reads. However, the problem with that is the pressure is still going to be one-on-one, and they can get in there pretty decently. Obviously, they won't have a free rusher, which is good. But then you'll have that user lurking around in windows and stuff like that, right? So I found it actually more effective to send 5 out into routes, know who the hot is, and then know where I have to go based upon who I dictate as being the hot or the Q, okay? So, I mean, we'll get into the whole mic stuff, but, you know, you don't have to know all that stuff to be successful against cover 0. So as you see, the ball's gone before he even gets there. And I threw the ball kind of late on a slant. So you do got to anticipate these throws. So here, I throw it even quicker, way before he gets there, okay? So I believe I show, what if we want to do a slant from the number 2 on that side? Again, ball's gone before this guy gets here. So now I went to the playbook. So even looking at this, if we called this play right here, okay, we would have a check release. So based upon that look, I believe that check release would be on one of the backers. So what that is he will check to see if a particular backer comes on a blitz. If he does, then he'll stay in to block him. But if that backer doesn't come and he gets out of there into coverage, then he will just go out into his pass pattern. What I hate about Madden is that we can't, first of all, there's a lot, I'm not going to nag and complain, but you really can't pick who that check release will be, which to me is just so suboptimal. And a lot of times they'll put the check release on a defensive end, and as I stated, that's just not optimal at all, right? Because obviously the defensive end is going to come more times than not, and then you have the back blocking the defensive end. The defensive end just runs him over. It might as well be cover 0 anyways, right? You want him on a backer, but it's neither here nor there. Well, let's just say this guy was going out into a route, okay? Where would you go for the hot throw? Would you have an answer for a hot in this play? Well, yeah, potentially the swing route if the player in man-to-man defense with him is out-leveraged, right? Or you can throw this little underneath route, right? So we can tag that as the hot. Throwing hot isn't really changing someone's route in the play pre-snap. Okay? I believe most offenses, they designate someone as the hot, like on the play design sheet, based upon the pass protection that they're going to have called in the play. Your hot is dictated from the pass protection that's called, because your pass protection dictates what player will be the Q, okay? So obviously in the pass call sheets, they have a particular protection that they want called based upon the routes, and then that's how they know who the hot will be in that particular play. So usually you want the hot or the Q to be on the play side, the side where the quarterback will be looking first, right? So if post-snap, within this play, we're trying to work the flood side, I would want to remember how we can choose who the hot will be. I would rather have the hot be someone coming from over here as opposed to over here. So we'll slide this way so we don't have a hot over here. We'll do big on big or whatever pass protection we're going to call. But if there is a potential hot, it's got to come from this side. So that way when I snap the ball and I'm looking this way, as I'm dealing with the hot, I can also, you know, go through my reads, because if he doesn't come, then we can just go through our regular reads on the play. Okay, so that's neither here nor there, because this video isn't about hots really, but it's just a little nugget. So I picked a random play from the playbook, and they gave me a running play, of course. So this is where I changed the play. So this is probably my most used audible in the game, because we're running dragon on this side and we're running like a stick concept over here, and this is great against cover 0, right? So look how the ball's gone before that defender gets there, and we threw it a little late too. Okay, this is very good against cover 0. This little route here, he'll run it out against man or stick it against zone, and even against the tight end, I mean, a really good safety Again, we get a completion. Now I said run it out. Word to the wise. Generally, the routes that beat man are the ones that run away from man, right? So you can look at a play, have never picked a play before, and just see, okay, this is where in cover 0, man off, I can throw this route. It's running away from man, right? You just got to look at how long it would take for that route to be ran. So obviously you can't throw like a deep 20-yard dig with this guy as a hot running at you. You're just not going to have enough time, right? But looking at this play, I've never picked this play before. Again, this was a playbook I just chose randomly to do this video, right? So I would pick random plays and this play came up. Well, I can tell that, we should be able to throw this route. This route is a little dicey because it looks like he's going to, make a move at the top of the route. Might take a little bit of time. But again, you see this check release, how his check release is on the safety. It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Okay, ball's out. Again, he's going against a stud safety, and this is probably the worst receiver on this field. So still, we're able to make that completion. This throw I wouldn't really make. Not a big fan of this throw. Again, you see how he, I think that's more so probably good against zone because that player kind of runs off a defender, so you can kind of work underneath it. Not really good against the blitz, but you see we still make the completion. Matter of fact, that reminds me of Reggie Wayne, Peyton Manning in the Saints Super Bowl when Manning threw that interception, and I believe they were blitzing with the cover 1 behind it. That's neither here nor there. So here's another thing. I mean, you can throw these screens, wide receiver screens on off coverage. You can try those as well, right? I mean, there's a lot of ways to attack cover 0. But, I mean, the biggest thing I believe is you got to throw in time, in rhythm, and you got to know when cover 0 is coming so you're prepared for it. That's the biggest thing. And then after a while, you won't be afraid of stuff like this. You'll have no issues with it. Your opponent may get mad, right? And they'll start making adjustments within this play when they just want to stay in some type of pressure, right? But we'll get into dealing with that. But I think it's important to start off with the simple stuff first and then build from there. So the simple stuff is to throw on time in rhythm, know when it's coming, right? But as you see, I mean, they're all the same. This is cover 0. The one I just showed you is cover 0, okay? So, when you go online and you go to YouTube and you search stuff or whatever and you see these titles that people give, new incredible nano blitz pressure, best blitz in Madden, that type of stuff, right? You go watch the video and it's just like a form of cover 0. It's like, bro, that's what cover 0 is. You're bringing a free rusher. Of course you're going to get instant pressure. That's what it is. There's nothing really profound about getting hard pressure while playing cover 0, right? So, now the strength of it is you get a free rusher, but the weakness is you're man-to-man on the back end, and you could potentially get exposed in a lot of ways. You play against an on-time, efficient offense, you'll actually want to throw against cover 0, right? I actually love it when people play cover 0 against me. So I picked another blitz because I showed you the blitz from the mug look, right? And remember I told you that's the fastest someone's going to get to you with a free rusher, unless they bring somebody inside. So a lot of the blitzes people pick in the game are blitzes from these type of looks, right? And you'll have more time to throw the ball because the free rusher is further away from the quarterback. So if you can get used to throwing against that look that I just showed you, I showed you we can even throw, these curl patterns, right? Then there's plenty of time. So here we're going to release 5. I mean, this guy has no chance of hitting us. We're already throwing. The ball is out, right? Just throw in time and on rhythm. In time and in rhythm. Now, one last thing I want to say when you're dealing with this against off-man coverage, you always want to have someone within the play going deep. Always. Okay? I ran into a guy, that's why I love playing different players. and they do different things because you want to run into stuff that you've never seen before, so you can learn how to deal with it. So the next time you run into it, you have a good time attacking it. You know, somebody does the same. Oh, I remember this guy was doing this last week, and then you just have no problems like exploiting it, right? So what I had a guy do, well, actually a couple of guys, where they were getting tired of me, and they will again. You will do this, and they'll get tired of you doing it to them. They will be bringing cover zero, and the ball will be gone before that free rusher gets there, while they're playing man-to-man on the back end. So what they will do is, did I go past it already? Right there. Yeah, I barely missed it. Now, obviously, you won't be able to see this. I'm using both controllers. But what they will do is they will go to the coverage adjustments, and they will right stick down for underneath while playing off coverage. And what that does is when you snap the ball, these players will jump underneath almost immediately. So if you're trying to throw that curl pattern, you're going to curl like right into the defender. Okay? And that's how you can throw an interception and etc. So to beat that, because against cover zero, you pretty much know where you got to go. Okay? Obviously, you want to ID the user, right? Let's say he's lurking over here. Because a lot of times what they do is they take a player, they pressure because they want the offensive line to slide and do what they got to do, and then they back out to try to get in the window of a throw. Okay? So, you know, that'll be for another video. But you know it's cover zero because you pre-snap read. That's very important. So you know that it's coming, right? So you know you got to get rid of the ball. You know you're going to go here against that particular look. You know, you're going to see where the user is, whatever, right? And you snap the ball, and then you see the defender kind of sit real flat and jump underneath. That's when you know he did the underneath. So how do you beat that? Well, that's why you have someone going deep every time against cover zero. You have where you're going to go, a couple of spots where you can go if you can, and then you have your deep guy no matter what on every play that they're playing cover zero. So if they do jump underneath, you know to get my eyes off of that and just throw the deep route, right? So I'll show you what this looks like. Snap the ball, and look, you see this guy jump down like that? So that's how you can just throw it right over the top of them. So we can see what that looks like over here. You see, I'm glad I went back here. So this is regular where they don't jump down, right? It's just cover zero. Watch this player as you're looking at him, and you see how he slowly backpedals, right? So you know it's just regular man coverage. And this is why throwing the curl is so good, because he starts to turn his hips because he doesn't want to get beat deep, right? So that's why this throw is so good, because you throw it right when he turns almost, and there's just no way for him to recover and drive on the ball, right? You throw in time and rhythm, it's just like impossible. But when they press down on the adjustment, you see how it's different. He's not backpedaling. He came forward a step, and now he's sitting flat. That's how you can know, okay, he pressed down on that adjustment, and I really don't want to throw this curl over here. So again, you don't want to have just one plan of attack. You want to have a backup plan for that particular adjustment, and then that's when we know we can throw this over here. There, I threw it against that particular adjustment to see how it would look, and I noticed he played it a lot better, right? But you still have to throw this deep outside shoulder. It's there, okay? So don't just lob it up there thinking it's all good. You still have to kind of, you know, see where you have to throw it, but that's open. So you see how tight that window was. So, you know, I would make like just a go pattern. You know, I checked out how it would look against like a post, and I'm not too satisfied. So let's say they coverage adjustment down for underneath. You snap the ball, you notice, okay, he's probably playing underneath. So you look for your deep pattern, and you had a post on it, and you can still throw it, but I think just the go pattern is probably best. So here I show you some examples in game, and I have a lot of stuff recorded, but I really didn't have one where I can showcase 5 going out. Well, I do have it, but I just couldn't find any. So, a lot of games what I do is I'll block 6. Most of the time I just bring out 5, okay? But in this particular game, I was just blocking the back. He wasn't green dogging it like at all. This is man-to-man on the back blocks, and he doesn't come, so we can get 6-on-6, right? But I could have just released the back and still... Oh, I see why. I see why. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I blocked the back. So now we're getting into... I'm getting away from the theme of the video. This should be against press cover 0. Off cover 0, this video. But because he's pressing, it's going to take a little bit more time for me to make this throw. Okay? So that's why I blocked the back. So now we can get 6-on-6. We still got to throw it quick, but I can make this throw now because now I don't have a free rusher who can hit me before I can throw the ball because it's going to be a press. Okay? Now if he were to replace that and still come, remember, we still have a little bit more time because he's further out from the quarterback, right? As opposed to someone being right off of the edge here. Okay? So snap the ball, and what do you know? He bailed, so he didn't press. So we got plenty of time. So I could have threw that with 5 going out into routes. Okay? And that's one of the benefits of throwing against cover 0 is a lot of times you will get animations to where this guy just misses the tackle or something like that, and you just turn around for a touchdown. Okay, so that's how you discourage people from playing cover 0. It's just you're just really successful against it, and they can't stop your offense. You're just moving up and down the field at will. So here I think I just did it again, and for whatever reason this opponent felt like I wouldn't do it again, and I did, obviously. I think this might be the new meta now for most people playing that coverage. I can tell you right now, you can run all over it. So here, I don't know why I'm giving you guys these examples. I'll probably make this the last example because these are examples I should show in the next couple of videos because obviously there's more ways to attack, but I just wanted to start you off on the stepping stone, I guess you could say. I like to go 5 wide a lot of times against the blitz. I know that may seem kind of like a contradicting thing, but again, when you get 5 wide out, you kind of stretch the defense to the max, and it's easier to identify who's coming and who's not. Because if you have to cover, well, you got to be out cover downing your man, right? So in this instance, I see 1, 2, but not a 3 here, right? So the closest defender to this guy is him. And because I know it's cover 0 and you guys have to deal with these players up the field, we can just throw this flat route, right? So, this is a good example of wanting a particular player to be the Q. We should never block to this guy, right? Blocking like that would make these 2 guys the Q. Okay? Because if he doesn't come and he backs out of there, right? And this guy comes and now he's the Q. Well, what's the problem with that? Well, now he's out and he can better defend the route. Granted, he's still out leveraged, right? One-on-one, 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 right? And this guy's coming scot-free, and now it's going to be, a tighter throw. You got to get rid of the ball. As opposed to blocking this way. Now these guys are the Q. So if one of these guys come with this particular protection, okay, well, if he comes, this is just wide open, right? So that's why, now this is, a bad example with the pass protection, who's going to pick up who. I'm just trying to showcase a point. Why making this guy the Q in this example would be far more optimal than making this guy the Q. Okay, because if he came free and this guy comes out, well, we still got to get rid of the ball, but everyone is covered, with the exception of this guy, but it's still going to be a tighter throw, as opposed to making this guy the free rusher and we make sure we're blocked up this way, right? So if he doesn't come and he goes out, right, then I know we're good. I don't have to rush a throw. Granted, it's one-on-one blocking, but I know a free rusher isn't coming and I can go through my reads, right? But if he does come, well, now I can get rid of the ball, and yes, we have an answer for it because this guy's just wide open now, right? So I'm reading that player as the Q because this is the front side. I'm looking at this player, and if he comes, instantly I know, throw the flat. If he doesn't come, and this guy doesn't come, right, then I know I don't have to rush a throw because we're good with the blocking. Okay, so I'm already getting it like out of the video. That's a whole nother video in itself with the pass protection and stuff. So right here, I already know I'm throwing it. So maybe I'll make this the last example. Okay, again, pre-snap read. I mean, right away, guys. I mean, that's why it's so important to know about the pre-snap read. Don't remember what I did. So yeah, I got my go just in case this guy sits and jumps down on it with that adjustment. So obviously I'm making sure I'm doing this because I think in this game, this guy was doing this all game. And I was just torching him, right? Snap the ball, and you see he's backpedaling, so now we know we can just throw this, right? So this would be my first read. We see him slowly backpedal, so I know I'm throwing this, no matter what. Okay? Ball's gone. And again, we break a tackle and gain some more yards. So I'll leave it at that. I mean, look, 15 for 20, 341 yards. There was a game where Peyton Manning was playing against the Packers in his record-breaking year, one of them. Remember the year where he threw 49 touchdowns, I think it was, in 04 or 05, I think it was. Anyways, around week 10, Manning had, I don't know, like 39 touchdowns for the year or whatever. And they were going against the Packers, who were a blitz-heavy team. That's what they wanted to be identified as. Hey, this is what we are. We're going to blitz, blitz, blitz. We're going to bring pressure. We're going to get at the quarterback. And the week coming up to Manning, they're like, well, are you still going to stick with that? Because you're going against Manning right now, and this guy's on fire. And they were stubborn. They're like, no, we're gonna blitz him. In that game, Manning threw the ball 20 straight times. They didn't run the ball at all the first 20 plays of their game. He threw the ball 20 straight times. He had 5 touchdowns in the first half. Okay, you don't beat the blitz with runs and all that. You throw it. You throw it all over it, right? Because it's one-on-one on the back end. You just get rid of the ball before that free rusher gets there. And I think I'm going to show video clips of that game in the next video when we get into other ways you can beat off coverage, and then we get into like press, where we beat the press. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hope you keep coming back. Peace.